that's fine. Whatever it was, 30 days or 28 days to get us stuff together. And it hadn't progressed as at the last hearing. She said it's called last. Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's really the financial consequences that he's not allowed to
And the debt.
Just before we start, is there anything the council wants to take his honour to that his honour might not have a copy of?
Yes, Karen Carmody speaking here, just confirming whether His Honour's received the affidavit of my client filed on the 2nd of June, a short affidavit.
Yes, it was filed, that's okay. I was more talking about if there's anything you want to tender. Anything to that, like that. Ms. Bain, no?
No, not at the moment. They're depending on...
Sorry, I think you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. I beg your pardon. Depending on what level of detail this hearing ends up going to, there might be a particular piece of evidence
That's
that
fine.
we need to,
Yeah,
but
that's
at
right.
the moment I don't think so. Thank you.
Yeah, if you do, you just have to email it in. I'm sure his honour will have it, but we'll sort it out.
Thank you.
Alright, thanks.
That's just a show.
It's not.
No. It's just to show that I was literally working 2 minutes beforehand and the state of the property, which is vastly different to what it is now.
When was your last mortgage payment?
I'm guessing probably 6 weeks ago. And it's on hold because of my hours.
Obviously, when that hold is lifted,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
going to have to
Make up, yeah.
make all those missed payments as well.
The different banks, I don't think any of the banks have resolved whether it's you're going to make up your payments or you
Capitalise.
have to renegotiate your contract to get stuck on the end of your contract, which
Yeah, presumably
costs money.
They're not going to make people pay it all themselves.
Yeah, they seem to have just,
People wouldn't be able to.
they look to have just added it onto my total. They've just, I think, added $3,500 recently.
Yeah, well, assume if you've got that room to move in your mortgage, then you assume that that's what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess if you didn't have that, you just have to increase your payments
Yeah.
a little bit until it's paid off.
Sorry to be annoying. So with the kids, you've got that she's admitted to ongoing abuse that's not recognised in any way, shape or form in the report, the family report.
I think we don't need to get into that kind of thing. But
Okay.
I don't know what path we're going to go today.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I assume they're going to push to change the arrangements in accordance with recommendations. We've just got to say that there's a lot of issues with the report. It's a bit risky to be changing the arrangements until all the evidence is on. Because the report writer omits or doesn't refer to or has misinterpreted a lot of the evidence.
Yep. And the evidence exists.
So she hasn't had regard to any of the school records.
Perused due to volume, but no references to the content.
Yeah, that's the shit you need to fucking trawl through as painful as
Yeah,
it is.
well, that's-
Because you need to...
That's those records are not pretty.
And his records,
20 evidence about him. He's taking knives to school.
threatening to kill teachers. And it's ongoing, it hasn't stopped. She's claiming that since their separation it's all good. It's not. There's still daily accounts of throwing chairs, telling teachers where to go.
You're still getting calls from the school, aren't you?
Not now, but I was. Yeah, after the separation, the school was calling me because I was saying Beck had blocked their number.
And the debt you're servicing, you say that that's the results, the ongoing debt from both of you living together?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Her car tyres, her trips to weddings, her family's weddings, her mobile phone bills.
And how much is that?
At the moment, it's about 60-ish thousand. And but I have
All
to,
credit card and
personal
personal
loan.
loans.
And I can't sell the stuff in the condition it's in, but I can very quickly improve the condition if I can access it and sell them. Like my Land Cruiser that I bought for 8,500, fixed and sold for 22. Could have sold it for more, but I couldn't access all my tools. As an example, yesterday I'd spend $300-400 on tools and parts for my car just to drive here. That I owned those parts at home and I owned those tools at home, but because I couldn't access those spare parts, strut mount bushes and spring compressors and so on, I had to go buy it all again yesterday. I spent $400 to buy parts and tools that I have at home. So I literally, every time I try and do something, I've got to re-buy the parts and the tools. And I could have done it at home yesterday and not spent a single cent. I had the parts, the brand new parts there. But the mounts were broken. I couldn't drive down here today without change, so I've still got grease under my fingernails from last night. Are you guys happy if I just stay back here or get up?
See what the judge says, I guess.
The other thing is that the courts are really big on maintaining social distancing, even when virtual.
Yeah.
So
I should have bought gaffer tape so I could.
could we put crosses where we're allowed to see it?
Oh, just to shut my mouth. I was going to bring some today as a joke. I forgot that I was going to put it on my mouth when the hearing starts.
We'll have it on mute when I'm actually speaking.
Oh, right, okay.
Remind me some of the larger equipment that you've got that's there.
So boats, excavator, plant trailers, like a 3-ton, there's an 8 metre long 3-ton trailer, which I have to weld.
A what truck?
Trailer, it's a huge tandem trailer that you put the excavator on.
Oh, okay.
So it's a huge trailer, which I have to weld, grind and
Trailer
spray.
and truck?
No, just the trailer. So the trailer as it is now is rusting. There's pools of water on it in her photos. So it's a couple of weeks worth of work to fix it. It will go from being worthless. Like, it's got brand new electric brakes, brand new roller rocker suspension, but the rest of it's rusting because it's sitting in the weather. As it is, I'd get bugger all for it. It won't help the debt, but if I could take it all back to bare metal, weld up a couple of things, spray it, it becomes an $8,000 trailer. I can finish the excavation in a few weeks. I have to do a few things first, like it has to be done systematically or methodically, but then I can sell the excavator. But I can't sell the excavator until I fix the excavation. There's multiple cars.
What's the excavator worth?
Probably 7, if I can, well, I don't know what state it's in. When I left it, 7 to 8,000 minimum, maybe 10.
Bain and Mr. Carmody, can I just check? Has the family report been filed or has it been released to the parties for starters?
We all have copies of the family report. I don't know whether it's been filed with the court. I don't know whether from my side, my instruction solicitors indicated it hasn't been filed. I don't know from the respondent father whether it's been filed.
No, we haven't.
Alright.
We haven't filed it.
Is there a copy on the file, Mr. Associate?
No, so could the court have a copy?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and it's a fairly lengthy one, so I should imagine His Honour may want it stood down for a while because it's fairly complex. I apologise, I thought His Honour had a copy.
It's alright. Just want to send it through. His Honour will hold it out.
Could we seek a stand-down time, or will we just wait and see what His Honour decides?
Just wait, just send it through first and then we'll go from there, yeah.
What,
I think my...
Maybe Son of Bain just want to mention it.
Can we just make sure we've got the right email address, Mr. Associate?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's Associate Judge Howard
oh, yeah.
at federalcircuitcourt.gov.au.
All right. We'll do that now then.
Thanks very much.
All right. I think this has come out, my copy's come out a bit distorted as far, because I've got a printer from my iPad, so I think it's come out with larger, I guess it still refers to the relevant paragraphs, but if you've got, or if you've got an electronic copy, we can.
Well, I've got it.
I don't know if you're aware, there's things like she's put the dog down when the kids were pleading for it. It was a puppy.
Full stand, right stand, please. You could also put a shade house session with the seated over there, going right.
All right. I'll take appearances first of all for the mother. Hang on, you're on mute. Miss Carmody's on mute.
Carmody, initial K, Your Honour, instructed by Carswell and Company.
Miss Carmody for the mother. Thank you. For the
Yep.
father?
If you want to please us, Bain, B-A-I-N, initials S-G, instructed by DJ Hinton lawyers on behalf of the father.
Thank you. All right. Now, I've been told by my associate that apparently there is a family report available. Is that right, Ms. Carmody?
Yes, Your Honour, I apologise. I think all parties thought it was already on the court file, but I understand it's just been emailed to Your Honour.
It has just been emailed to Your Honour's associate.
When was it produced? What's the date?
29th of May, 2020.
the moment, Charlotte and Darcy are living in a wig about arrangement, are they?
That's so, Your
on
Honour.
the 28th of January 2020, Your Honour made shared care order and an order that a family report be prepared, and that family report is a product of that order.
All right. So today, the dispute relates to interim parenting orders, does it, Ms. Carmody and Ms. Bain?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honour.
Is there also any other application on foot today?
Yes, there's the ongoing issue with respect to the property matter.
Now, when you say the ongoing issue, what do you mean exactly?
There has been from the beginning an application effectively for the father to have sole occupation of the marital home. At the first hearing, Your Honour gave the mother time to gather relevant paperwork and any evidence that she wanted to rely on. At the second hearing in March, that really hadn't progressed as far as any material gathered or prepared by the mother, although she did undertake, to Your Honour, that she would start making mortgage repayments, although that hasn't happened, so we are pursuing that.
Your Honour, those submissions are cutting out for me. I don't know whether Your Honour is able to hear them all.
No, I heard some of them. You cut out a bit there, Ms. Bain. All right. In any event, the father pursues an application for sole use and occupation.
Yes, Your Honour.
Okay. I'm just getting the family report printed. What's the family report writer recommend about these children? Ms. Carmody, you're for the applicant. What does it say?
Yes, Your Honour, the recommendation of paragraph 182 was the two subject children, Charlotte and Darcy, Darcy being a boy, live with the mother. And it further it states that it's the continuation of the equal time arrangement, which is the current arrangement, is outside the children's needs and best interests. And Your Honour, I can take you subsequently to a series of paragraphs setting out why it's important that change be made now.
All right.
And that change, I should submit, Your Honour, would also impact on the orders with respect to where the mother resides.
All right. While it's being brought in, can you start, Ms. Carmody?
Yes, Your Honour. I'm not sure how much you recall, but this is a household with 5 children between the mother and the father, but the 2 subject children, or should I say correctly, 2 of the children are the respondent fathers, and the 3 of the children are the applicant mothers. But the subject children are Charlotte, who's 11, and Darcy, who is 7. The child that the father alleges presents problems is Evan, who's 15, and he suffers from attention deficit disorder and oppositional defiance disorder. And as a result of an event in October last year, the father is currently charged with an indictment in the district court with strangulation in a domestic setting with respect to this Evan, the son, and common assault of the mother. The family report sets out a number of pertinent areas of concern, Your Honour, but the 2 that I want to take, Your Honour, to the father's suggestion that Evan presents significant difficulties, particularly to Darcy, and the father has taken the children to the police. But I'd like to first of all take you to paragraph 166 of the family report.
Let's say that again, what number?
166.
The police confirmed yesterday that she lied
Yes,
last
I have
time.
that.
You'll see the family report writer sets out the events post the October 2019 incident. This is the incident which resulted in the charges against the respondent father. And you'll see that the concern the family report writer expresses is with respect to the father's or respondent father's engagement of the other siblings with filing complaints against their brother. and paragraph 167, where the family report writer doesn't express a view as to whether the allegations should be given consideration, but simply points out that there is some evidence. But what I'm particularly concerned about with respect to the father's conduct starts in paragraph 169, where the family report writer refers to a negative trajectory of successive behaviours and actions that has influenced the segregation of the sibling unit and fostered a strong sense of alignment and allegiances between the children and their parents. I'll leave Your Honour to read 169, and at the conclusion of 169 I've got one brief submission to make, and then I'll take Your Honour through the subsequent paragraphs.
Thank you. Yes, I've read that.
So in relation to the towel flicking, Your Honour, the police conducted an investigation in relation to that and determined that he was never actually hit by the towel.
And just remind me, who flicked who with the towel?
There's an allegation that Evan mistreats Darcy, the 7-year-old. So Evan's a 15-year-old and Darcy's a 7-year-old.
Right.
So the respondent father has taken the children to the police a number of times, and on the one occasion the police considered it was simply horseplay, one incident, and on the second that the towel didn't actually hit the child. But what is of concern is this continual behaviour by the father to turn the children against the mother. If you continue through paragraph 170, and these interviews with the older children, and then paragraph 171, and particularly the concern that Darcy, the 7-year-old, is being aligned with the father. One of the reasons for which it's agitated this morning that the wig about the receipts, and I'll take Your Honour to the actual comments by both Darcy and Charlotte, the two subject children, about Evan, as opposed to what the father says about Evan. If I could take you to 172, 173, and then if Your Honour would mind continuing all the way to 181, where the final assessment is that this shared caring arrangement just can't continue.
Bear with me.
Darcy was with Rebecca when the Section 93A regarding the towel was done. Police confirm I didn't make it a big issue. Yesterday I recorded that. Are we on mute? Yeah. Police confirm yesterday that. Police confirm I didn't try to make the towel incident a criminal matter. The sergeant stated yesterday there's no record in our system of you trying to make towel flicking a criminal matter.
But did you take it to the police?
Darcy was with Rebecca. Her affidavit even says that. So the Section 93A was done at the home with Rebecca and Darcy. I did not take Darcy to the police. So that report.
But how did the police get to know about it? That was from you.
That was in regard to that was a side issue. That was that was a side issue.
What are they here to talk about?
About the abduction, about taking him from the house on the 24th. And he confirmed he was hurt. The sergeant confirmed Darcy reported that he was hurt, and Evan admitted to taking him on video by force. So they were there to investigate the 24th removal from my home. And Darcy, the sergeant, I recorded the call, confirmed that the report shows Darcy did say he was hurt. He was dropped on the bitumen and his knee was grazed. A side issue was the towel flicking and Darcy being punched in the head and given a headache from Darcy. They were side issues. It was just, that happened as well as these side issues.
What was the date of the abduction?
24th of the 12th.
Of when?
So what they're reporting there, he was not in my custody, and Rebecca invited Senior Constable Tom McKinnon to the house to do the interview.
Just remind me the date of actual separation.
20th of the 10th. So everything they've just read out is a complete misrepresentation of police records. And she lied under oath that the last one, the police have confirmed that they did not dismiss, the records do not show they dismissed my claims. And I've got a recording here on my phone that confirms that their report states they're satisfied an offence did take place, but they haven't got enough evidence to
All
assure.
right, and if you want to take me to what Darcy and Charlotte said to the report writer.
Yes, sir, I'll take you there. And the importance of this, Your Honour, is if you turn again to the order of the 21st of January, the father actually sought orders which Your Honour made that Evan not come into contact with Charlotte and Darcy. So in response, the family report writer asked both children, and if I could take you first of all to paragraph 81, where Charlotte is asked about Evan, 81 and 82.
They begged me not to they begged me to save them from him on video.
This family report will be Exhibit 1, by the way.
Thank you, Your Honour. If you continue down to 83 or 84, there are also observations by Charlotte about the mother and the father at 84 and 85.
You're okay to concede that Charlotte can go to her full-time, aren't you?
And then 87
Not now.
and
Not
88.
because
Rebecca continues to abuse them,
7 is about the
and
yelling that
not with Evan there.
both parties seem to do with respect to the children. But it
you've
says
made
that
concessions to the report
Dad
writer
will
that
call
you're
mum
okay to respect
names,
her.
and an 88,
If Evan's not there.
some evidence of what Charlotte saw.
But
in
Charlotte doesn't want to live there full
October
time.
2009, where she was worried about Evan getting hurt. And
She
so
witnessed it, did she?
yes, she says Charlotte was present during it, and so Dad got angry when Evan and Alana were snatching phones. And Dad picked him up and tried to take him to the car.
To the grandparents for a
The
time out.
intensity of Mr. Erskine's big demeanour and reaction led to Charlotte feeling unsafe and worried for Evan.
That's not what Charlotte says, and what she's written.
When Your Honour's concluded there, I'll take you to Darcy's observations.
Yes. Thank you.
Now, Darcy is paragraph 95, and you'll recall that this is one of the children that the family report writer is concerned is aligning to the father. So 95, and then 97, when he suddenly announces unprompted he wants to live with his father.
Because he's terrified of his mother. She
And
abuses
then
him.
turn to 102, he discusses Evan. And you'll see the stuff ends up my palm, which is the horseplay conclusion the police reached. And the whips me with the towel, where the interview concluded that he wasn't actually touched by the towel.
Yep, now,
He was.
just bear with me.
The police concluded he was. The mother's still abusing them. He was so confident and assertive that he wants to live with me.
Stop.
Right.
Paragraph 103 is of concern because Darcy's saying they, meaning his two older brothers and his father, like me at the other house, they want me to stay there forever, which is suggestive that there's been some kind of conversation going on there.
All right.
Now, Your Honour, I'd like to take you now to two further affidavits. First of all, the mother's, where she deposes to the difficulties with respect to the behaviour of Evan, who has been diagnosed as indicated. It's her affidavit of the 20th of May, which first of all talks about the attack of the 20th of October, paragraphs 1, 2, 3. Paragraph 2, which says Evan was taken to the Harvey Bay Hospital, assessed as having been strangled, which CT scans confirmed. And then paragraph 3, the mother describes Evan's diagnosis.
Yes.
And then in her further affidavit I'll just give Your Honour the date, she talks about the fact that the respondent father, rather than actually assisting with the management of his behaviour, simply confronts Evan. And I've got to talk about that relevant paragraph when I locate that.
So this is in the affidavit file 20 May.
20th of May refers to the incident, but there's a third affidavit filed on the 24th of February 2020, where the mother...
Yeah, right. What did you say there?
And the mother talks about difficulties with the father's appreciation of the fact that Evan has oppositional defiance. I can't turn it up for the moment. Your Honour, but it's just the first couple of paragraphs.
Okay. What else you got? Anything else?
There's an existing temporary protection order made with respect to the respondent father, with respect to the mother, and the district court details are provided in the affidavit of the mother on the 2nd of June.
I've got
And
that.
that's where it sets out the charges.
And
There's
okay.
crossover.
Is that all you wanted to say on parenting?
Yes, Your Honour.
And with the father pursues an application for sole use and occupation. Now this house, where is it at again? Is it Uranium or something?
Uranium, yes.
Burrell.
And what is, who owns the house? Whose name's it registered in?
The father.
I understood it to be a rental property, but I must be misunderstood as that. I read somewhere that it was rental, but perhaps Miss Bain is on that.
You
Ms.
want
Bain,
to,
who owns the house?
it's
Single name.
It's in the father's name only. Perhaps the confusion with respect to the rental property might arise out of the fact that the father, when he left the property, has been renting a property that is suitable for him to have the children.
All right, thank you. Now, Ms. Carmody, have you got any? What are your submissions about the application for sole use and occupation by the father?
Yes, Your Honour. If I could take Your Honour to the mother's financial statement of the filed on the 26th of February, where she deposes to her income and living expenses, and you'll see that she simply has no capacity.
Right.
She does. Friend's assistant. She did it before.
To support other accommodation.
So is she
While the-
currently working?
She did it before I met her.
No, the 250, I'm not clear on the income type of the 250. I might ask my instructing solicitor just to clarify
She's rolling in cash.
what the situation is there with respect to her income.
So in the last financial statement, thanks. We've got Rebecca Justine Erskine.
And I'll contribute to rent as
Low
part of
average
child support.
weekly income $657.
How many weeks did you offer?
Yes, you see, one
6 months.
benefit of
She rented a house before she met me working similar hours.
parenting benefit, child support.
She's
Kind
lying.
of have it
And the
both ways though, like,
250
if
I'm
you're
unable
not
to
able to
assist her on a
maintain
week.
it, that's good. Or
But I can compare it to the,
Oh, well, it actually says pharmacy assistant in paragraph
Yes.
3.
yes.
She's a
I didn't know
retard.
what she was doing. All right. Okay. Yes, go on. Anything else you want to say about this? What do you want to say?
And compare with the respondent father's income.
Well, what's that?
COVID.
His average weekly income was $1,730.
What does he do?
He works with a information and communication technology manager.
Pre-COVID.
All right.
And I'm simply resubmit again, Your Honour, that the issue of where the children live, both children will have some bearing on any decision Your Honour should make here. It's simply that my final submission with respect to this, that the parties remain where they are pending the trial to displace the mother in these circumstances severely prejudices her and the well-being of the children pending the hearing.
All right. Just bear with me.
So we default and she's out.
All right. Is there anything else that Ms. Carmody?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Ms. Bain, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honour. I might start with addressing some of the issues raised by my learned friend, Ms. Carmody, perhaps working backwards regarding the property issue. It seems uncontroversial that the mother has no capacity to support the ongoing mortgage, so it's difficult to see how she can maintain logically an argument to keep the matrimonial home, despite her offer to the court on the last occasion to start making mortgage payments. That hasn't happened, and the father has continued to make the mortgage repayments up until about 6 weeks ago, when he has had some COVID-19 relief from the banks with respect to the mortgage due to some reduced hours with his work.
So what is the actual situation with the mortgagee at the moment?
So that is suspended, as it is for a lot of people at the moment. So he has that relief. That's at the moment not a determined period of time, subject to what will happen with COVID.
So there's no time limit put on this suspension of mortgage repayments.
3 months
At
at
the
this stage.
moment, it's 3 months.
So another 6
but
weeks.
That's not a final position.
Okay, and what's the name of the bank?
ING Direct.
It's an ING Direct mortgage.
All right.
Your Honour might recall at the last hearing also that the father offered to pay 6 months' rent for the mother to move out of the home and re-establish herself,
My mother's money.
and that was being effectively financed by financial assistance from his mother. And Your Honour might also recall taking evidence from the father on the last occasion with respect to the difficulties associated with the maintenance of the property, the value of the property, the maintenance work that was being done on the property, and his access to various assets such as a boat, truck,
Trailers, excavator.
excavator, trailer, all matters, all items that he needs proper access to and time to not only maintain the value of the property, but to continue to improve the value of the property. And it seems clear that the property has not been maintained at all in the interim. And in
Now, where's the evidence about that?
Her exhibits.
with respect to what particular issue, I'm sorry, Your Honour?
Last bit about the property falling into disrepair.
Oh,
or
in
dilapidation.
the circumstances that what the father was doing prior to him moving out of the property has not been ongoing. So significant work such as a retaining wall.
Excavation to make it a slope.
Excavation work,
Pool restoration.
pool restoration,
Dam remediation.
remediation
And
of the dam.
is this all in his affidavit for this interim hearing?
Yes.
Or is it, where is it? Where am I finding all this?
It's in there.
Yes, it is in his, I'll just find there's in the affidavit of the 20th of May, Your Honour, 2020.
Okay.
And Rebecca's photos
But
show she's not
also
maintaining it.
in earlier affidavits that have been filed, and I'll just have those dates brought up, Your Honour. The 24th of January 2020. Yes, so both of those affidavits should cover the issues that Your Honour's raised.
Alright.
She's not even mowing.
Well, I'm looking at the affidavit for file 20 May. There is reference in here to it. I mean, the whole point being, for the purpose of the interim hearing, there is of course the practice direction. It seems he covers it. He seems to cover a few things here about his in paragraph 42. He says that the property and the maintenance will continue to deteriorate. All right.
And Your Honour might recall from the last hearing that in addition to him having to pay rent for his own accommodation, continuing to service the mortgage at least up until 6 weeks ago, he's also servicing the shared financial debt from credit cards and personal loans in the amount of about $60,000. That is only an approximate amount. Ongoing from the separation. And Your Honour might recall this is an unusual case in that the separation that Your Honour is concerned with in this matter only occurred in October of last year. So it was a matter that was brought very promptly before the courts.
All right. Anything else on sole use and occupation argument?
Oh, I need to improve the assets to sell them to pay the debt
Your
off.
Honour, I beg your pardon. Your Honour might recall that the issue about the father having access to the property in order to properly maintain and improve the value of the property was the subject of him giving evidence on the last occasion, because that became somewhat confusing and he clarified why he needed, and it's not just a matter of him being allowed for example access for a day for him to improve the property. Your Honour might recall there was the issue of him being in a position to improve the working capacity of some of those assets in order to sell them off to help service the debt, and at the moment he's simply not able to do that because he doesn't have access and occupancy to the home. And the bottom line seems to be that the mother is not in a position to buy him out and service the mortgage despite her undertakings to the court on the last occasion. Sorry, I interrupted Ms. Carmody.
No, you can't. You can't. You have, wait until she finishes and then I'll hear from her.
I thought that was the conclusion. I'm sorry, Your Honour.
Go on, Ms. Bain.
Is there anything else in particular I can take Your Honour to with respect to the property issue if I label it as that?
No, that's fine. What do you say about parenting?
Your Honour, the findings of the report writer with respect to the father are largely, well, almost entirely contested and issues that will be ventilated at the trial. The report writer seems to have ignored the views of the two older children, which Your Honour will recall are not his biological children, but regard him nonetheless as a father. They, of their own volition, I mean they're 16 and 18-year-old young men, have chosen to live with the father, and the report writer completely ignores, whilst drawing attention to what she packages or labels as the father's destruction of the SIB ship and drawing effectively alliances between the brothers and sisters. What the report writer ignores is what is clearly acknowledged as being a very close link between the young 7-year-old Darcy and his older brothers, especially Luke. And anything that Darcy seems to say in favour of the father or in favour of wanting to stay with the father is construed only by the report writer as the father being somehow manipulative and coaching the child. One of the most concerning aspects of the report writer's conclusions is that she draws very dangerous conclusions regarding the criminal character of the father, effectively as the basis of why the children, it's not in the children's interests to stay with the father.
Where does she say that?
It's a general finding at the end of the report. I'll just have my instructing solicitor bring that up. But she makes those comments by reference to the fact, firstly, that there is a temporary protection order protecting the mother against the father, without any reference to the fact that there is also a temporary domestic violence order protecting the father from the mother, but relying on completely misrepresented evidence from the mother regarding the conclusions about him being dangerous and violent. And one of the main features that is, and it's relied on by Ms. Carmody, and this is in no way a criticism of her because it's reflected in the affidavit of the mother, is that the mother's evidence largely attempts to litigate the criminal matters, and one of those aspects that she relies on heavily is that Evan was taken to the hospital, that he was assessed as having been strangled, and that a CT scan confirmed that. That is a complete misrepresentation of the actual independent evidence associated with the criminal file, and is a very clear demonstration of the lack of appreciation of the report writer of actual facts, and that's because of the facts that have been misrepresented by the mother. The CT scan was conducted. It showed absolutely no evidence to confirm that there was any acute injury. There's even reference to bruising, which seems not to be reflected in medical evidence either. There is reference to a finger mark and to some red marks. And the photographs certainly don't reflect anything indicative of supporting the type of strangulation that's described by Evan in his evidence. And
just so I'm clear, you say, where is the evidence of a finger mark and a red mark? Has anybody subpoenaed doctor's notes or the hospital records?
it's in the hospital records, but they've been subpoenaed. They are part of the before.
But we also have CCTV.
So they're in the hospital records that I understand have been subpoenaed and are before Your Honour. But they...
All right. Well, has anyone been through them? Have they read them? Is there any pages anyone can take me to?
Certainly...
As to what the doctor observed at the emergency. I presume he was taken to emergency, wasn't he?
Yes, that's so. It might be, subject to what Your Honour would like, it might be easier for us to pick those out and email them through to Your Honour's associate. Is that...
Well, we haven't got time for that.
Is that
If you can do
suitable?
it instantaneously, it's all right. I've got the file. My associate's giving me the bundle of documents in a minute.
All right. Apparently the hospital records aren't too extensive, so Your Honour might be able to access them.
Well, it's on the
Quickly.
disc apparently. Do you know how many pages it is? Has your instructing solicitor inspected it, Ms. Bain?
We've both seen it, but largely with respect to the my concentration on that issue has largely been with respect to the criminal matter. So that's why I know that they exist and what they say.
Well, what does the... Just tell me from the father's evidence.
There's CCTV to prove I didn't do it.
It seems that the child, Charlotte, witnessed the incident.
Yes. He's written a
Is
statement.
that your understanding?
To some extent, yes.
Was anyone else there?
Yes.
But they didn't actually witness.
Not everybody has witnessed the entire incident.
No, okay. What,
But those criminal charges are being seriously contested. Can I read out?
Look, obviously the criminal matters are a matter for the criminal court, but
Can I read
what
out?
I'm looking at it from the point of view of a parenting case, it's still relevant for me to see some
Of course.
independent document from a doctor as to what they observed.
Can I read to Your Honour from one of the pages from the medical records? It's from a medical imaging report. It describes that a late arterial early venous phase CT neck was performed. The findings are no evidence of cervical artery dissection, including common carotid, internal carotid or vertebral arteries, no deep cervical spine soft tissue fluid collection, no hematoma, so no bruising. Cervical spine alignment is maintained, so no damage to the spine, no fracture, subluxation or dislocation, no epidural or paraspinal hematoma evident. Conclusion.
Is there any handwritten note from a doctor who saw him? I don't want a CT scan report.
Can I just
Is there a
take Your Honour to
anyone
the...
who observed him, anyone who looked at him and made a handwritten note?
There are typed notes from an observation from the doctor.
What does that say?
I'm just bringing that closer so that I can read that to Your
And
Honour.
I want this email to my associate.
Yes, Your Honour.
Your Honour, the respondent father's affidavit of the 24th of January attaches the Harvey Bay Hospital at
Okay.
page 13. And that
24th of January.
24th of January.
You sure that's when it was filed?
Yes, that's so, Your Honour.
Along the bottom, but it's also dated 24 January.
All right. Well,
And it attaches an exhibit of Harvey Bay Hospital, which records a 10 centimetre fat finger mark on right-hand side
And
of
it reports no previous
anterior,
abuse.
posterior triangles, other red marks scattered around SCM and trapezius on both sides. Small injuries. And then there's a reference to other small injuries.
now what page is this on?
Page 13 of the respondent husband's affidavit. It may have been filed on the 31st, but it's certainly dated the 21st of January 2020.
Yeah, filed on the 24th.
Don't forget the exhibit shows she's
Bear
violent.
with me.
It reports no
If
previous abuse.
those, Your Honour, if those reports aren't easy to access, my instructing solicitor has just emailed those to Your Honour. We should
Thank
just
you.
email what we'll do is also forward that email. I apologise, we should have CC'd Ms Carmody into that, but we'll forward that exact same email to Ms Carmody now so that she...
All right, thank you. Okay, anything?
Rebecca's a violence abuse.
Bain,
Oh yes, I beg your pardon.
do you have in front of you the father's affidavit filed 24 January?
I can, just a moment. Whilst I'm finding that, can I also just take Your Honour to some of the aspects of the family report?
No, just find this first.
Oh.
I want to deal with this.
Certainly.
I need to get your submission on something. That's all.
Yes, of course. Okay, I have that.
Okay, so go to page 13 of 24.
Is there a paragraph number?
No, because it's an Exhibit AE1.
Oh, sorry.
Down the bottom in the middle, at least of the sealed version, has got page numbers, 13 of 24. But it's Exhibit AE1,
Yes.
Bain Hospital Emergency Department,
Yes,
20th of October 2019.
yes.
See towards the bottom of the page, it
Yes.
says, there's a paragraph, 10 centimetre finger mark on the right side of the neck. Then you go to the next paragraph, it says IMP, strangulation, violent mechanism, obvious marks on neck.
Yes.
It seems to be a note from the doctor who saw him in the emergency.
But there's CCTV.
Yes, which is relating to the account given by the complainant child.
But I want your submission as to whether you think that's the impression given. Sorry, whether that's the note written by the doctor after seeing the child, or when seeing the child.
It's difficult to say either way. What Your Honour can't take from that in my submission is that what that note reflects is that the child has been subject to a violent mechanism by way of strangulation.
Leave out those words, strangulation. Leave out the word violent mechanism. What about the words obvious marks on neck?
Yes, there's no issue that there are photographs of the marks on the neck, and they can also be emailed
That's all I wanted to hear from you about. Where are the photographs?
I'm not sure if they make up part of this affidavit. I think they make up part of the criminal brief.
Oh, that's fine. Keep going now with the family report.
No. But we have CCTV to show I didn't do it.
The other aspect of the family report, as I say, that the report writer seems to be very influenced by adding together the fact that the father is the subject of a domestic violence order where the mother is the aggrieved, and that there is this obvious evidence with respect to the strangulation. And that seems largely to dictate her findings with respect to Darcy. There is no recognition from the report writer that the father has been very reasonable in his interview with the report writer in giving Charlotte what is labelled effectively as respect to her wishes regarding her wishes to live with the mother. And that is used by the report writer as a demonstration of the father's willingness to break the sibship. So he's in a situation where he can't win. If he's reasonable, that's used against him.
Now, which paragraph is that in?
I'll bring that up.
Is this part of her interview with the father?
It's part of her conclusions after interviewing the father, where the father makes those concessions about understanding and accepting that Charlotte has a very different relationship with her mother than Darcy does.
Right.
And he's not given any benefit for being reasonable and understanding of the children's wishes. That is used then as a tool against him, that he is effectively willing to break what's referred to as the SIB ship in the report. There is no recognition of any damage to Darcy's relationship with respect to his close relationship with Luke and Jake. And there is no reference to what were originally Your Honour's concerns in making the first orders in this court regarding Evan, that there were threats made by him, that there was the use of a knife involved, there was the ongoing conduct of an unlawful sexual relationship going on in the house between him and his underage girlfriend, and the report writer has referred to a perusal of the school records which have been subpoenaed, but what those school records indicate is that Evan's conduct still includes episodes where he has taken knives to school, where he has threatened a teacher, where he has thrown chairs around. So there seems to have been a very one-sided view taken of the father's concerns about Evan, and clearly they didn't align with Your Honour's first consideration of the original material put before this court, because Your Honour saw fit to make it a condition that when the children were with the mother, that they should be supervised.
I think this lady here is Miss Dodds actually makes a reference now to the fact that Evan should not be the sole carer for Darcy.
Yes.
Keep going.
There is no evidence, no finding of any significance in my submission that supports that the children should be uprooted from what is, in my submission, a very fair situation at the moment of week on, week off, and to suggest that having them live effectively solely with the mother except for every second weekend, in my submission, is clearly more disruptive to them and does disadvantage the father in the long run. There is no evidence to suggest that there is any danger or that it's not in the interests of the children to continue with the current arrangement. In the circumstances where Charlotte has indicated a willingness to want to live with her mother, and the report writer gives her the benefit of being old enough to have some input into the decision making, Your Honour would of course take that into account, but that must be countered by the ongoing concern about her being present at the mother's house with respect to Evan. But certainly with respect to Darcy, there is no reason why that cannot continue to be a week on, week off arrangement, and that cannot, in my submission, be regarded as damaging to the relationship between Charlotte and Darcy when Darcy maintains a sibling relationship with his brothers Luke and Jacob, and he deserves as much to have that relationship ongoing as does Charlotte, and she will continue to have that relationship by a week on, week off relationship with Darcy, if that's the way Your Honour sees fit to rule on the matter. But there's no reason in my submission from the report writer that supports that the children need to go now solely to the mother. And it's certainly, of course, not been supported to date with respect to, on 2 occasions, Your Honour, ordering that 50-50 arrangement.
And Rebecca is abusing them. I'm not.
All right. Thank you. Anything else?
The chili and stick.
There is some reference to, I think it's contained in one of the mother's affidavits, and I'll have to find that particular reference, to the mother continuing some forms of corporal abuse with respect to smacking with spoons and the use of chili in the mouth as a punishment. I don't want to have to descend into the minutiae of every allegation that has been made. Can I just make one final remark with respect to the towel flicking incident being the subject of criminal charges, or being the subject of the father tending to criminalise all the conduct of Evan? That in fact arose out of a police investigation regarding what's been rightly or wrongly packaged as an abduction of Darcy by Evan and the girlfriend that happened on Christmas Eve of 2019, and that's reflected in the earlier affidavits. And it was in the circumstances where the police were interviewing Darcy and Evan about what happened on that occasion that Darcy reported various things, such as being hurt when he was dropped by Evan on the way to the car and hurt his knee, and his head was hurt, and then there's reference to this other occasion with respect to the towel flicking. So it's not proper in my submission for that, for example, to package this as an occasion where the father has taken Evan and Darcy to have the police effectively litigate an episode with a towel flicking. That's taking the matter completely out of context with respect.
And Darcy was in Beck's care, not mine.
Anything else? Did you find the aspect? She says it's not damaging to the perception. It's your original.
You mentioned she is being investigated for the chili and mine
Thank
protection
you.
order
Is there
breaches.
anything else, Ms. Bain?
Your Honour, my client reminds me that I'm not sure in what capacity, but the mother is apparently being investigated with respect to those issues that I just raised, that is the aspects of corporal punishment.
Is there any evidence about that?
I've got an audio recording. That's all I've got on me today, but I've got some statements regarding it. It only happened yesterday that I got confirmation from the sergeant.
No, we only found out yesterday, Your Honour.
All right. Thank you. Does that conclude your submissions?
Yes, I was just trying to find the reference about the report writer's concern about the damage to the SIB ship regarding the father's conduct, but it really is a collection of Ms. Carmody has properly taken, Your Honour, to the thrust of the report it's really from paragraphs 150 regarding her observations. But my overall submission with respect to those observations is that they are either supported by evidence that has been misrepresented by the mother, or that they are conclusions that are not properly and logically drawn by the report writer, and that they take no account of Darcy's wishes. And I understand that at the age of only 7 that his wishes would be given very limited regard. I don't take issue with that. The thrust of my submission is that the report writer's concern about damaging the relationship between the brothers and sisters has to be regarded from both sides, and it's clear that he has a very strong connection to his older brothers. And in any event, a week on, week off arrangement continuing with respect to Darcy does not damage his relationship with either part of the family, either with his sister Charlotte and continuing to try and develop a relationship with Evan and with his older brothers.
And what order does the father seek about Charlotte?
Fifty.
Ideally he would like the current orders to stay in place, and there is really no reason for those current orders not to stay in place, but he has, in my submission, been very reasonable by conceding that Charlotte's wishes are important and that she's now of an age where her wishes can be taken into account. Although his concerns about Charlotte with respect to her exposure to Evan continue, but yes, so the ultimate submission is that the current orders stay in place, but he accepts, as he did with the report writer, that Charlotte has a very different relationship with her mother than Darcy does.
Now you mentioned that before, but which paragraph did Charlotte specifically state her wishes?
It's in the report.
But her wishes have changed since then.
It would be unsurprising to Your Honour to hear that her wishes with respect to who she wants to stay with as an 11-year-old girl have shifted and changed over the period of time. But nonetheless, during the course of the report, I think it's at page, I'm sorry, was that 94? 93? Yes.
Thank you. All right, I found it. All right, you've finished, haven't you, Miss Bain?
Yes, thank you, Your Honour.
Thank you. And Ms. Carmody, you wanted to say something briefly about one
Yes,
issue?
I've got a brief response to.
Sorry, Your Honour, we can't hear Ms. Carmody.
Response with respect to both parenting and property. Can I be heard on that occasion? I just want to check Miss Bain was able to hear me. Right?
We can now, thank you.
I can't hear Miss Bain.
Yeah, we can.
Anyway, obviously, Your Honour, with respect to the parenting issues, the truth or otherwise of the event of the 20th of October, which is the allegations with respect to Mr. Erskine's comments, are not the basis for the submission that the children should return to the mother and week about care should cease. However, the Harvey Bay Hospital Board records are an important evidence as to the fact that there was attendance on that hospital on the date of the 20th at 7-something that evening. And the family report also refers at paragraph 157 and 158 to evidence with respect to Mr. Erskine's history of depression, and medical files support that he has at times been agitated,
So is
angered,
she's on
and
medication.
physically abusive within the family home.
Apparently
So
on
I'm not
medication.
relying on that aspect of the October event. The concern expressed by the family report is the deterioration in the relationship between the mother and her children. And what is critical is at
abuse.
paragraph 173. Family report writer is talking about the two older boys.
Oh no, that's okay. You've been over all this.
No, Your Honour, I wanted to go to the last
She
sentence
abuses
of
the
that
kids.
line, where it says that up until separation, the oldest boy had an intact relationship with the mother.
No,
And it's only since separation and the influence
that's
of the
not what
father.
they said.
And 174, which points out that the Darcy's trajectory is of critical concern. In
Yeah.
other words, the
No,
deterioration.
that's okay, that's okay. I understand. You stated this earlier on. I've got all this.
Yes,
Was
right.
there anything that was factually wrong from what Ms. Bain said, or any point of law?
Not that I'm going to take issue with Your Honour, with in respect to the fact that there are contested versions, and I quite properly suggest, as Ms. Bain did, there are matters that need to be resolved at trial.
We have
But
CCTV.
the key issue for now is the critical issue of what happens by time of trial.
No,
If this
I
is not-
understand. I understand. No, that's
Can I
right.
just turn briefly then to the property? I only have one with
Yeah.
respect to the property. If I could take Your Honour, in case Your Honour has a perception of this being a wonderful house that needs work on it by the father, if I could take you to the mother's affidavit
Compare
of
it to my
the
photos.
20th of January, which attaches the photos of the actual property. So the 20th of the 5th.
That's the state
Your
it's in
Honour
now.
turns first to paragraphs.
It doesn't hurt us.
Hang on. Where, is it the 20th of May or January?
May.
20th of May.
She's not maintaining it.
Which attaches as exhibits photos of the property.
She's not maintaining it.
So this is not a house on a critical stage of restoration.
That was the day I left. All gardens, all.
Right.
And if you turn to paragraph 59 of that, the mother deposes to what the work is, and then attaches the photos of what the work is.
Oh yes, I see.
Yeah.
So this is not, and there are
Complete misrepresentation.
cars lying in the yard. Well, if the father
One's a
wants to
race
work
car,
on those,
one's a
he
project.
could collect those.
I can't.
There's a boat that's
Two.
not registered and
It is,
hasn't been
brother.
used. If he wishes to take that and work on that, and there's similarly caravans. But
Take
the
them where?
critical issue for my client is that the mortgage has been suspended, so there's no pecuniary detriment to the father.
For 6 weeks.
And my client undertakes, once that has been, the suspension's lifted, to make the mortgage payments herself, and she proposes that in her paragraph.
And what about the debt? Who services the debt?
So if orders
The
were
other
made
debt.
to the effect that upon the resumption of the mortgage payments,
Okay.
that the mother takes over those payments pending trial, that would resolve.
I was working on it up until 2 minutes before the incident.
House at this stage.
Okay, so that's an order that the mother would.
Consent to,
Yeah.
and you'd also consent to Darcy not being left alone with Evan.
Righto.
Admitting there's a problem.
Bear with me now while I give some reasons here.
Can you point out that the condition that it's in now is not the condition I left it in?
It's all, I think it's all to
The
your
matter
advantage.
before the court relates to two young children, Charlotte and Evan Erskine. Charlotte was born on the 4th of January
Darcy.
2009. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
The matter before the court relates to two young children, Charlotte Erskine, born 4 January 2009, and Darcy Jack Erskine, born 16 January 2013. Those two children are the children of Rebecca Justine Erskine and Aaron David Erskine. There is another child, Evan James Erskine, who is the child of Rebecca Erskine and the stepson of Aaron Erskine. The court, it seems, currently has been asked to make orders, certainly it was in January, about all three children. But the main issue today relates to the children Charlotte and Darcy.
Only
The other
Charlotte,
issue
Darcy.
today relates to which parent should have sole use and occupation of the former matrimonial home situated at Uranian in Harvey Bain.
Brow.
Insofar as the parenting is concerned, the matter came before the court in January. On the 28th of January as an urgent application. Again, it was here on the 10th of March. The parents separated quite recently, only in October 2019, in addition to the 3 children referred to, that is to say, Charlotte, Darcy and Evan, the mother has 2 older children. The 2 older children are Jake and Luke. They are Evan's 2 older brothers. Jake and Luke, it seems, have decided that they want to live with their stepfather, Aaron David Erskine. He currently lives, that is to say, the father currently lives in a rental property in Harvey Bay. The mother remains living in the poor matrimonial home. In March of this year, when the matter was before the court, an order was made for Ms. Dodds to prepare a family report, Ms. Laura Dodds.
In January, not March.
The matter was set down for an interim hearing for today. There was a notation made that at the interim hearing today, the court did not have the family report available. The court did not intend dealing with the parenting matters. The family report was obtained recently. It's dated the 29th of May 2020. It was forwarded to the court by email this morning after I brought to the party's attention that the report was not currently with the court. The report of Ms. Dodds, is Exhibit 1. These reasons for judgment on the making of this interim parenting order are given pursuant to Section 69ZL of the Family Law Act. That is to say, short form reasons when making an interim parenting order. The court is required, obviously, to have regard to Section 60CC, the best interests of the children. It's important to note that when the matter came before the court in January, the court made an order that Charlotte and Darcy would live in a week-about arrangement between the mother and the father, and an order was made that Evan would not be present when the children were, that is Darcy and Charlotte, were with the mother. I'll come to the reasons for that shortly. I should point out that the court in January, the court's attention was drawn to evidence of risk issues in relation to Evan. And there's no need for me to go over each item of that evidence. Suffice to say, I recall the risk issues, and Ms. Bain, at counsel on behalf of the Father's Day, has reminded me of some of those. So far as Section 60CC is concerned, the court has to have regard to the primary considerations. Firstly, ensuring a meaningful relationship, or at least considering the aspect of a meaningful relationship between parent and each child. The evidence of Ms. Dodd suggests that both parents, in fact, do have what I would call a meaningful relationship with both children. So both children have a meaningful relationship currently with both parents, and there are benefits to these children in maintaining those meaningful relationships. Whereas young Darcy might say one thing, such as he wants to live with his father forever, it was apparent to the family report writer that Darcy's displayed
I encourage him to go to Beck,
or demonstrated
even when he refuses to.
a nurturing, secure relationship. I was just going to pause it. Can I just ask council and everyone else on the line to mute their buttons at the moment, just so there's no background noise? Thank you. In paragraph 179, I note that despite comments by Darcy about it being okay with never seeing his mother again, on the other hand, the report writer notes that there was demonstrated to her a nurturing, secure relationship that existed between the mother and the child. Of concern to the court is what Ms. Dodds refers to as the emergence of distorted cognition, exposure to alignment, and the inability for Darcy to offer reliable context or informed views. Those comments are contained in paragraph 179. Darcy expressed his views, and this is relevant to section 60cc3 small a, but he is only 7 years old. He wants to stay living, well, he wants to live primarily with his father, from what I can tell. The child, Charlotte, is 11, says that she'd prefer
At the
to
time.
live with primarily with her mother. The wishes of the children are one thing in this case. Charlotte, with her, because of her age, would be more likely to give more weight to her views. But the overwhelming issue of concern identified by the family report writer, and which is relevant to section 60cc2 small b, the need to protect children from various forms of harm, including physical or psychological harm,
And corporal punishment.
the overwhelming opinion of the report writer is that what has occurred since separation is, according to the report writer, what has developed since separation
No, we were a bit close
is
beforehand.
an alignment between the father, the two older children of the mother, Jake and Luke,
No mention of an alignment with Charlotte,
And-
Evan.
the commencement of an alignment involving not only the father and Jake and Luke on the one hand, but also involving Darcy. What was of critical concern to the family report writer is noted by her in paragraph 174.
What about the corporal punishment? Does that mean nothing? It's not looking good, is it?
In fact, I'll include here in these reasons for judgment all of paragraphs from 169, 170, 171, 172, 173 and 174. Of concern to the family report writer is the fact that the accounts of the children strongly suggest that there is an alliance which is being fostered with Mr. Erskine, with a concurrent rejection of one of their siblings, that's Evan, and their mother emerging.
No, that's I
So
encourage
it's
it.
the concurrent rejection of their mother which is of
It's the other way around.
concern. Interestingly, Charlotte, according to the report writer, has a reduced willingness to capitulate to the negative schema, is the word used, SCHEMA, against her mother.
Depends on the day.
Darcy's interview suggested to the report writer that he was being proactively drawn into the conditioning of divided loyalties.
He caught me crying, Dick.
And the report writer says that should this continue, the forecast for Darcy's sense of identity, emotional worth, and opportunity to grow up experiencing healthy relationships with both parents will be reduced.
So ruin the relationship with me. When he's with her, he calls me crying. It's got nothing to do with me.
Thing is, if I said that to the judge, he'd find a way to use that as an example of how tainted
I note
Darcy
that the
is.
family report writer continued from paragraph 179, and I will include here 179, 180 and 181, as well as 182, where all the recommendations are noted. Of particular note is the opinion of the report writer that there's a strong sense of unity between Charlotte and Darcy.
What if you observe
The
them?
bond between them should be nurtured and prioritised.
Break one relationship to nurture another. Which is fine as it is. It's fine as it is. Charlotte and Darcy spend all their time together. So break the bond with Luke.
In relation to whether or not Evan presents as a risk issue, so far as Darcy is concerned, I note a number of things about him. The boy has been diagnosed with oppositional defiance disorder and as well as ADD, I understand. I am sure that on occasions Evan's conduct would have put significant strain on this family.
Correct.
Evan's behaviour would have put significant strain on this family.
Absolutely.
However, there are ways of obtaining strategies from experts.
We were for 7 years.
With those conditions
We had been.
behaved in a particular way.
We'd been doing paediatricians.
Charlotte interestingly says that she felt appropriately supported and safe in the mother's care and with the mother's proactive responses to Evan's behaviours
Depends
as
on the
these
week.
present.
She's come to me begging not to
Charlotte
go back.
didn't think that Evan had conducted himself all that differently from her other brothers.
Oh. In January, she begged not to let me take her back, which is why we went to Sydney. That report is 1 day in time and how they feel
But
on
no
that day.
paragraph 81, where Charlotte was asked specifically about being hurt by Evan. She said that he had kicked her at one time in the past, but added, "But all of my brothers have done that.
No.
There's nothing he's done that my other brothers haven't."
Darcy's the issue. She's strong.
Towards Darcy specifically, Charlotte stated that Evan has hit him like a normal brother does. In Evan's company, Charlotte feels normal.
Depending on the day.
She said that she has at times felt uneasy when Evan was angry and yelling, but her sense of safety is restored by going to her mother, who subsequently tells Evan to stop and go to his room and calm down.
I'd like to see that.
There is other evidence concerning Evan's conduct relating to Darcy. I note paragraph 102. Where Darcy said, and I'll include all of this here in the reasons, Evan is sometimes nice, kind. One thing, he shoves pens up my bum, that's all.
But I've made that up.
He said that he feels scared because Evan has hit him and always hits him in the leg or stomach or whips me with a towel.
Mm-hmm. That's why he doesn't want to be there.
When asked if his other siblings had done anything similar, Darcy sternly advised no, but added, well, Jake kicked me in the arm, but it hardly hurt.
And that's probably out of context. Yeah, they could have been playing, they could have been doing anything.
It seems that the police at one stage became involved
Still are.
discussing matters with or about Evan and Darcy. There being apparently some situation that arose in around Christmas or on Christmas Day in 2019.
And the finding is an offence did take place.
I note paragraph 176 of the family report where Ms. Dodd says, in the context of the information provided, it appears more probable than not that Evan's behaviours relating to towel whipping and poking Darcy's bottom were more consistent with immature, impulsive behaviours of an opportunistic nature rather than evident of any sinister coercive behaviour.
Watch the CCTV of him knocking him out of trailers.
The family report writer's view was it would be best, or advised, or gave an opinion that
He before gets forced to cop it sweet.
Evan is not left in the position of sole carer for Darcy at any time, and that a responsible adult should be in substantial attendance when Evan and Darcy are together.
So it can't be horseplay.
The report writer says, in her opinion, it is not assessed, however, that the ongoing separation of the siblings is required in this safety context.
According to
Says
her
the
evidence.
consequential messages and emotional impacts for the children relating to the segregation of Evan from the home in this context can also not be understated. That's contained in paragraph 177 of the family report. In relation to the incident from October 2019, which had led to charges being laid against the father, those charges are apparently, according to an email that was sent by an employee of the Queensland Justice Department recently to the mother of the mother solicitor, contained in that affidavit, which I think was filed very recently, noted that there's a strangulation charge against the father concerning the child Evan, which I understand was from an incident in October 2019. And there's another charge of assault by the father against the mother. Both those charges, I understand, are being strongly resisted by the father.
Mm-hmm. With CCTV.
It's, of course, not the role of this court at this interim stage to come to any concluded finding, even on the civil standard, noting section 140 of the Evidence Act. But what I do note is, for instance, that the child Charlotte became concerned, but she witnessed part of the incident in October.
She's written a statement, and
From all accounts from the family report writer, Charlotte has a level of maturity that some of the other members of the family might not.
Jake and
In
Luke
any
are
event,
far
I
more
know
mature.
that from one of the earlier affidavits from the father filed 24 January 2020, there is Exhibit AE1, which is in fact an annexure to his affidavit. It is from the Harvey Bay Hospital Emergency Department Clinical Summary, 20th of October 2019.
We didn't point out my current exhibits with their violence.
Relating to Evan James Erskine. Born 23 April 2005. For present purposes, I note only the following words which have clearly been included on the document by the doctor who prepared this particular note. The doctor notes, amongst other things, obvious marks on neck. Also, the doctor noted a 10 centimetre finger mark on the right side of the neck.
The CCTV shows my hands don't go near his neck.
That evidence tends to indicate that
What about the CCTV?
some incident occurred, that an incident occurred in October 2019, whereby there was, at least one could say at this stage, an argument or disagreement between the father and Evan,
That's fair.
that some members of the family, including young Charlotte, witnessed
And saw that my hands didn't go
some
near his
or
neck.
part of the incident.
There's no mention of the
Child Evan
CCTV.
was taken to the Harvey Bay Hospital, that the doctor noted obvious marks on his neck and also a 10 centimetre finger mark on the right side of the neck, amongst other
My fucking hands didn't touch his neck.
matters that were known. But I'm only having regard specifically to what seems to me the doctor would have been able to objectively observe on the child.
We can't interrupt and say, what about the CCTV, can we?
Any evidence? It's
And I note
Sorry?
that it is from that incident charges have been made against the father. In any event, it's important for the court to have considered that evidence, because one of the interesting aspects of Section 60cc2 is in fact the impact of Section 60cc2 capital A, which requires the court to give greater weight to the considerations set out in subparagraph 2 small b, the need to protect children from physical or psychological harm. Now,
I don't want him.
notwithstanding the gravity of the situation in which the father finds himself as a result of that incident, and noting the obvious traumatic impact the events of that day had on the family,
Including myself.
it is nonetheless the case that even at this interim stage it's clear enough to the court that the father's conduct on the day
What about
relates
Evan's
to
conduct?
child Evan.
He was hurting
The father, on that evidence to which I've referred, it could at least be inferred by this court that he was not utilising any child-focused strategy at the time.
I was taking Evan to his grandparents.
In any event, there is no suggestion by any of the witnesses, including the mother, the father, the children, the family report writer, there's no suggestion that this father poses a risk of harm to Charlotte or Evan in a physical sense.
But she
There's no
does.
suggestion whatsoever that he inappropriately has physically disciplined those children.
But she has.
There seems to have been a clash point, which
Mhm.
the father, I'm sure, concedes himself,
Yep,
between
absolutely.
himself and Evan.
Absolutely.
As to precisely what occurred on the 20th of October 2019, and as to whether or not any of the father's conduct amounts to criminal conduct is entirely a matter for another time and place.
Thank you.
This court looks at matters on the balance of probabilities, taking into account Section 140 of the Evidence Act. Whilst there's no evidence that would lead the court to conclude that these children, in particular I'm talking about Charlotte and Darcy, are at any risk of physical harm from the father,
Thank you.
what is apparent, certainly so far as Darcy is concerned, noting the opinion of the family report writer, there is a risk that the father, through his conduct, post-separation, does pose a risk to Darcy's emotional well-being
That's not true.
because of what is called here as, what is described at least as alignment behaviour. In paragraph 170, the report writer referred to having identified a rapid and intense escalation of alignment behaviour demonstrated by Mr. Erskine
No, it's
post-separation.
He's actually more fond of Rebecca now than he was back then. That's not true.
Of further particular concern is the evidence in paragraph 173 where Luke, one of the mother's older children, articulated, that is to say, Luke basically told the family report writer that he had an intact relationship with his mother right up until the time of separation.
There's paragraphs that contradict that, where he says he was
Clearly,
mentioning
it wasn't
suicide.
item of evidence or information that the family report writer has taken into account in forming the opinion that she has.
She had to ignore half of what he
Father
said.
has engaged in alignment behaviour.
I wasn't in the home for 6 weeks.
Seems is now aligned against his mother.
He was talking about suicide. He lived with her.
Jake and Luke's own individual sense of self-worth and identity indicates they are at considerable risk.
That's laughable.
Rather than rail against the family report, what's required by this father in this case is for him to take on board the contents of the family report and
I
the
have.
opinion of the independent family report writer
I
chosen by the
I
party.
take it on board. I give it thought. It's still biased.
The father needs to gain some insight in relation to his own conduct
I can work
on the
on it.
basis of that family report.
That's for sure. I can work on it. I'm not perfect.
It's not necessary at this point in time to go into any more detail of the additional considerations in section 60cc3. Suffice to say, I have already considered, in part, the nature of the relationship of the relevant children with their parents, which is the consideration contained in subsection B. it seems to me at the moment that the best interests of young Charlotte and Darcy will be served by them living primarily with their mother and spending alternate weekends with the father. That is the case put forward on behalf of the mother. The father was hoping for there to be a continuation of their equal time arrangement, but he did note Charlotte's stated preference.
At the time.
There will be an order for equal shared parental responsibility. The only orders I seem to be asked to make now relate to Charlotte and Darcy. Although there is also an order sought in relation to Evan, which must be right. There must be an order. There has to be an order about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got in front of me the order sought filed on behalf of the applicant, filed on the 30th of April 2020. There will be an order, and I note the mother conceding very sensibly that there should be an order that the mother can't really leave Evan as the primary carer for Darcy. The mother really has to be in substantial attendance. It doesn't go as high as supervision, but the mother has to be in substantial attendance. So far as Evan is concerned, it's going to be near. So far as Evan and Darcy are concerned. In relation to the application for sole use and occupation, I note that what is essentially sought as an order under section 114, subparagraph 1 small b of the Family Law Act, the father seeks an order for sole use and occupation. And I don't know if it's expressly written anywhere else, but I'm assuming that there's a cross application, even if it's not written in any particular application sought. I'm working on the basis that what I have before me are cross applications for sole use and occupation. And that seems to me to be the way that I should proceed.
Have we lost him? So has he made a parenting order or not yet? He hasn't got to that.
There's a decision of the full court from as long ago as 1976 in the marriage of Davis. Reported at 1976, 26 Family Law Reports, page 302. At page 305, the court stated the criteria for the exercise of the power under section 114, subparagraph 1, are simply that the court may make such order as it thinks proper. The matters which should be considered include the means and the needs of the parties, the needs of the children, hardship to either party or to the children, and, where relevant, conduct of one party which may justify the other party in leaving the home or in asking for the expulsion from the home of the first party. Obviously that case has been considered in many cases since. Including in the marriage of Page, 1980 decision. More recently,
Will this be a final order or just an interim order?
Of 2002. I note here that financial statements indicate the father has a significantly higher earning capacity, $1,700 per week.
Outside of
compared to
COVID.
$600 or $700 per week.
Outside of COVID.
The father, in fact, puts forward an argument, and I do recall some oral evidence from last time, although I'm not specifically taking that into account today, because it seems to me I don't need to. There's sufficient evidence to decide it on the material that's been specifically relied upon today. It seems to me that the father clearly has the means to pay for rental property elsewhere. As to the
My
mortgage,
mum's paying that.
the current pandemic means that the mortgagee has granted a repayment suspension.
Not on the other debts.
The court's been told by Ms. Bain on behalf of the father that
The means to pay rent and mum pays it.
bank have indicated a 3-month temporary suspension of mortgage repayments, but that is not necessarily the end of their holiday period for repayments. The mother, by the counsel, Ms. Carmody, has sensibly conceded that when the bank requires the recommencement of mortgage repayments, the mother has said that she will make the mortgage repayments and there will be an order to that effect.
What about insurance rates and everything fucking else in the debt that
There
I
will
can't
also be
clear?
an order requiring both the mother and the father to continue, and specifically the father is to continue to take all necessary steps and use his best endeavours to obtain as long an extension on the suspension of the mortgage repayments.
It's not the
Seems to be
deferral, not a suspension.
a sensible approach at the moment. Given that the court concluded that Charlotte and Darcy should live primarily with the mother, and they have been previously, of course, living primarily in that home at Uranga,
Wow.
that's another reason why it seems to me that the
What about Jake and Luke? They built the friggin'
court
place.
should grant to the mother the right to sole use and occupation of those premises. It would, it seems to me, cause unnecessary disruption
What about the debt? It can't be paid.
to those children and to the mother. If the father, who has voluntarily left that house, was given permission to come back in and the mother and the children had to leave, the
Fuck.
father puts forward an argument about all sorts of things that need doing on the property.
It's fucked.
And I note that he did give some moral testimony about this last time, but what I do have before me today, by way of update, is the recent affidavit of the mother, filed on the 20th of May.
Which is horse shit.
And the old saying, a picture
She's compare it to my pictures. It was fine when I left. Fucking
indicates,
She's neglected it.
frankly,
the only
something of a
conclusion.
mess in the yard of the property, which tends to support the mother's submission from the last occasion.
What?
There seems to be no less than
She can't have it.
4 or
both
5
ways.
motor vehicles, all of which appear to be
One's a race car with a roll cage, it can't be registered. One's a tipper,
disuse.
heavily modified, can't be
Some
registered.
of them
It's a
run, some
farm.
of them don't run.
Yeah, they do run.
None of them seem to have any up-to-date registration.
They don't need to, they're farm trucks. You can't register them. That's not what they're there for.
Caravan annex that was never erected.
Because
There
it
seems to be a
would have been done if I was there.
part of the property that needs to be retained. This was one of the arguments by the father that he should be permitted to go back in to
Do it.
perform all sorts of work on the property. Having a look at these
She can't do it.
Photographs does not give the court any confidence
That she's maintaining it, or that
of
I...
the father's ability to actually get
I was working on it on the
done. He
day.
was there for many years, as far as I understand.
I was working on it on the day.
That yard
Let us listen to this.
is a mess, but father's argument that he should be allowed to go back in to be the one to clear it up is not convincing in the circumstances. And the other factors
You haven't considered the
outweigh
facts.
the father's argument.
Oh,
Factors relating to leaving the mother as the primary carer for the two youngest children in that property, and the other
Kids are
issues which
fucked.
I have referred,
Jake and Luke are fucked. The property's
mortgage
fucked.
holiday and the mother's consent to an order that she will take over the mortgage.
What about
when the
fucking every other
We're going to
expense?
hear this.
There will be an order, as I said earlier, because the parties seem to agree, an order for equal shared parental responsibility, but section 65DAA, which requires the court to consider equal type orders or substantial different type. Those types of orders would not be in the best interest of these children or the opinion evidence of these Dodds. The fact that they may live in relatively close proximity and the fact that it could be easily achieved in terms of logistics, nonetheless has to give way to the best interest argument. And the best interest conclusion at the moment is on the evidence of Ms. Dodds that these two youngest children, Charlotte and
Darcy get hit and chili treatment
Darcy.
and bum poked and suffocated.
primarily with their mother.
That makes sense.
I note that they will both go for alternate weekends to see Luke to their father's house. That's where they'll see Luke and Jake. That's where they will maintain their familial connection.
They
with
hang
those
out
boys
24/7.
and with their father.
It's a fucking slaughterhouse, the family court. I can't maintain the debts.
The orders sought in the outline file or case summary filed on behalf of the mother, previous parenting plans and orders to be discharged, equal shared parental responsibility. So I'll go from paragraph numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and
She's fucking destroyed me.
8. So 7 really says they'll live with their father on alternate weekends from after school Friday to before school Monday. This relates to the children as defined, namely Charlotte and Darcy. These other orders seem to me to be appropriate as well, right the way through to 13. There will be an order granting to the wife at this stage sole use and occupation of the property.
What about the
She's
debt? She can
saying
service
that
the debt then.
The actual address seems to be 61 Rockaby Road,
What about that
Rural,
fucking debt?
B-O-O-R-A-L, Burrell, I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
He's just turned me into
Now-
a debt dog.
I did hear a submission from Ms. Carmody, which
Capacity.
sounds sensible.
Capacity to finish the works.
I think Ms. Carmody noted that if the father wanted to take some of the items from the property,
I can't. Take it where?
yes. I think he probably should do a list. I think it has to be in terms of paragraphs.
I will need 2 weeks to put that list together on the property. There's shipping containers,
Right.
sheds. Take it where? Stick it in the letterbox.
I'm not going to make an order in terms, obviously, yet of paragraph 14 in that draft, but I will make the sole use and occupation order, and I will make the order that the husband is to use his best endeavours to continue the mortgage
No,
holiday
I've got to pay rent.
ING direct for as long as possible.
Got to pay rent.
Once that mortgage suspension is lifted by the bank, there will be an order that the mother is to be responsible for the mortgage repayments.
What about insurance rates?
Then there will be orders in terms of paragraph 16, 17, 18.
No mention of the other debt. Who services that? I can't work on the boats anywhere.
I'll pause there for a moment. I don't know whether I need to make any other orders about the property at the moment. If you come back off mute there, Ms. Carmody. I'll hear from you, then I'll hear from Ms. Bain. Ms. Carmody, was there any other property order that you seek today?
She can service the
No
other debt.
other property order, Your Honour.
Any other parenting order?
With respect to the parenting, the children are due to return from the farm this Friday, so the orders could take effect from Friday. And also a request as to whether the family report could be released with respect to the criminal proceedings, because it opposes at 55 to the father saying he has a CCTV recording of the event, and so far
Yes, and I didn't do it.
Well, anyway, I'll hear from Ms. Bain about that.
Yes.
Ms. Bain, first
Just
of all,
shut
on the
up.
orders, can I just ask you about, is there anything else from those property orders you want to be heard about?
Your Honour, my client's especially concerned about how he continues to service the ongoing debt with respect to the approximately $60,000 of shared costs that are the hangover from the relationship, and whether the mother's continued the mother taking on the mortgage will, in accordance with paragraph 15, include in accordance with that the rates, the insurance, all the outgoings and utilities associated with the matrimonial property.
Well, I did not specifically make an order in terms of paragraph 15. You may have noticed I made an order that she has to pay for the mortgage. I did not hear argument about anything else except the mortgage. And she's only going to take that on when the mortgage holiday ceases. So, in Ms. Carmody, is it conceded that the rates, the insurance and all the other outgoings and utilities associated with the property would be paid by the mother once the mortgage is
I'm just getting instructions on that, Your Honour.
Your Honour,
While that's coming through, unfortunately, it has to be done by text.
That's all right.
The other issue, I'm just going back to the orders, Your Honour. I just noted order 8. That the children Evan James and born 23 April shall live with the mother at all times.
Yeah, I'd rather change that too. I'd rather say, I want an order that actually says that Charlotte and Charlotte and Darcy live with the mother, and then another order that Evan James Erskine lives with the mother. I prefer it to be very clear. So I am going to change that 8. Did you want to say anything else about it?
Yes, Your Honour. Just that it shouldn't say in failing agreement during the school term at all other times.
Yeah, no, I don't like that wording either. That's coming
Yes.
up.
My instruction from my instructing sister is that the mother is happy to pay the current rates from today's date.
Yes.
She'll have no capacity to pay the mortgage, water and electricity. So if the respondent husband continue with the water and electricity,
There is no
and
you
she'll
idiots.
pay rates and mortgage.
There is no water, and we've got solar, you idiots.
Your Honour,
I'm getting it straight.
sorry,
My
Fucking
the,
idiots.
sister sent me a text. You might need to clarify that.
That's okay. Look, what I actually think is the way the case has been run today.
What, $5,000 power bill?
I'm really
get
only in
on.
a position to make a decision about the mortgage and the sole use of occupation. Now, I don't have before me any up-to-date evidence on their precise outgoings for both?
It's resolved, Your Honour. The text clarifies there's no water connected and electricity is solar, so it's not an issue for my
No
client
shit,
or
Sherlock.
for either party having to pay anything there.
Okay, so is the mother saying that from today's date she'll pay the rates?
Yes.
What about the insurance?
Today's date.
I'm not paying it.
And the insurance?
I'm waiting for a signal.
Can the solicitor
Just have
consider
to think a figure of the insurance. Just think the figure of what the insurance would be.
About $230 a month.
Your Honour,
Anyway, look, I'm not going to waste any more time today on this matter, to be honest.
can I just note, Your Honour, that the terms of paragraph 15 are the terms, in fact, offered by the mother.
Yeah, nevertheless, she also wanted paragraph 14, but I don't think he's handing over the title of the property at the moment, is he?
No.
That seems
It's
to
not
me,
up to me.
15 seems to flow from 14. So I'm not going to make precisely what was in 15. So it's going to be, as I've indicated, I think it's clear enough.
I'm sorry.
Mother pays the rates from today. Mother will have to pay insurance from today, I think, Ms. Carmody. Mother should pay the rate from today, the insurance from today, and the mortgage from the time that the mortgage holiday ceases. I will settle these reasons for judgment, and I'll be and correct the grammar, but the substance will remain the same.
What about the
Is
debts?
there anything else, particularly today, Ms. Carmody?
Your Honour, only with respect to the family report, with respect to the father advising that he has a CCTV footage.
Tell the police of it. They'd have warrant you, dickheads.
Paragraph 55, we're nowhere near Evan, and this is of significant relevance for the criminal proceeding.
Absolutely.
Because he says he's got something to prove that he didn't do it.
Absolutely.
Hold on. I hear from
You're
Ms. Bain. What do you say, Ms. Bain?
Your Honour, well, firstly, anything that's contained in the report would be inadmissible and would be hearsay. But secondly, and most importantly, the police not only have copies of that CCTV footage,
Idiots.
but that's been provided by way of disclosure back to the father/defendant. So it's really, again, another example of how the report writer has completely misunderstood the criminal proceedings.
Well, in any event,
I'm sorry, I'm not sure, we can't hear anybody. I'm sorry.
Ms. Bain, you there?
Yes, we are now. Sorry, I didn't hear anything that you
Okay,
want to say
okay.
in reply.
No, Ms. Bain, no, I don't see it as the role of this court to become involved in what evidence should or should not be made available to the prosecution. It's not my role at all. So I'm staying out of that. I won't make any order about that, Ms. Carmody. Anything else?
Thank you, Your Honour.
Anything else, Ms. Carmody?
Only Order 16 should be agreed belongings rather than the carte blanche to take all the belongings.
No, well, he's got, but I'm also making 17 and 18, didn't I say that? Well, I did.
Yes.
17, 18 are also, so he has to give a list
I can't give a list. I'm not there to make the list.
before he does this.
Yes, Your Honour, thank you.
I can't give a list.
And she has to agree, and if she doesn't agree, they're going to stay where they are till I decide at a trial.
Thank you, nothing further,
Anything
Your
else,
Honour.
Ms. Bain?
No, thank you, Your Honour.
Thank you. Adjourn the court.
We've got to be able to hear him so that we know what we can say and what we can address and what we can't.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I should have bought the gaffer tape, put it over my mouth.
Look, unfortunately, it's unsurprising from the way in which that family court report unfolded. It's unsurprising in, I think, probably 95% of cases, the court will follow what's in the family report.
At least on an interim basis.
Yeah.
I can't afford to keep going. I mean, it just can't happen.
The bottom line is she's got to be careful what she wishes for. She's got what she thinks she wants. Now she's got to deal with it. There's no way in the world she's going to be able to make mortgage, insurance and rate repayments.
She's got a lot more money than she lets on.
Well then,
She's always had more money than me.
if that's the case, then that will have to be something that's explained at trial. If she's suddenly from $500 a week or something, $300 to $500
Oh,
a week,
she doesn't include all the family tax benefit A and B from Centrelink,
then
and
that will be.
she's got more than enough
She
money.
needs to be able to explain that by the time of the trial about how.
When I met her, she was doing similar hours, similar pay, single mother, pension, renting a house.
I just think
She was
it's
doing
a case
fine.
of be careful what you wish for. So she's.
Is there honestly any point continuing with the trial, or I just file for bankruptcy and fuck off somewhere?
Well, I think you need to take time away from the end result of today and I would give it some months to see how it's going with the kids. Kids grow up at a fast rate of knots, and by the time this matter comes on for trial, the situation could entirely change.
You know the evidence, David. Do I have any chance at trial?
Of course you do. You've got to remember that in this proceeding, not to mix it up with the criminal and domestic violence, in the family court proceeding, the judge has really seen by all the evidence. He knows, well, we told him that we've got video and audio recordings, but he hasn't seen or listened to any of them.
He says no capacity. I never stopped working on that property. I just did 80 metres of fencing, and if you look at my affidavit, I had to
It was all
excavate.
worded
As
just
far
to
as I'm
see his
concerned,
decision.
that's, you know,
I had to do hundreds
that
of
means
tons. I never
she's done
stopped.
fuck all
Well, that's
in the
right.
last 5
She's
months.
been there by
Yeah.
herself for 8 months.
I mean, does that look like... Does that garden and everything look unkept? It's all mown. There's no overgrowth. I was working... That excavator was there when I was arrested. I was working on it. The CCTV sheet shows me I was working on it 2 minutes before the incident.
So I told you from
No
day one
capacity.
that we have to wait until the trial when all the evidence can come out.
But you think... Like, I just don't want to be...
That's entirely your choice, but you need
We can't give
to-
any guarantees on the outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the
And
basis of probability... Like, do I...
You've got to look at the big picture, and as far as I'm concerned, regardless of what happens with the property, you've got to look at the relationship you have with your kids. And long term, I mean, Darcy's only 7. You've got another,
He'll bail out of there
you
as soon as
know,
he's...
11 years conservatively,
Yep.
you know, or I don't know,
It's-
8 years before he's old enough to, you know, vote with his feet.
As soon as he's big enough to feel confident walking out of there, he will.
You need to, you know, 8 years is a long time for you not to have that close relationship with Darcy.
Yeah, I know, and I know that, but will I actually have any chance at the trial? Like, does the evidence support my side, or is Rebecca just going to keep winning?
Well, David says we can't make any guarantees. It's got to be your decision about what you want to do.
I emotionally
But
can't deal with any more of this.
you can't make a decision now.
I know how I feel. I can't handle it. I can't sit down and read another affidavit. I can't sit down and write another affidavit.
That's what's going to have to happen if it goes to trial.
I have no more emotional capacity.
Don't make a decision about it now.
I can't. I physically can't. I can't even sleep. I'm going to drop dead before we get to court.
You need to keep in mind the big picture of your relationship with your kids. And
Yeah, I know,
That's
but-
the big fight.
But is there any likelihood that that's going to...
Look, if David and I
happen?
thought that you were pushing shit uphill, we'd say to you.
Like, if you think I'm just an absolute nutter and I should fuck off and find a cave to go live in, I can handle that. If that's what I should be doing, I'll go do it.
Well, that's not the advice that we're giving you. The advice is, this is a shit result in an interim hearing. As much as she would have thought that it was a shit result 4 months ago when you got 50-50, it's not what she wanted. This is not what you want. You need to think, I keep saying the same thing, you need to think of the big picture, and the big picture is your relationship with your kids, and you explaining to, you know, Darcy at his fucking 18th birthday or his 21st birthday, you know, why you didn't fight for me at trial. And yeah, they'll vote with their feet, you know, when they're 14 or 15, or the mother will fucking fling them back in your direction because they're, you know, so determined not to live with her or the position that they perceive she puts them in. And the tables are going to turn. All of the you know, things that are being thrown at you today about alignment and poisoning, and, you know, there's no one in the world that she, being the ratbag that she is suddenly going to be, you know, Mother Teresa.
Yeah. Jake and Luke are incredible people. To say Charlotte's more immature than them, like that, I can't believe she didn't take that out of the interviews. That is a deliberate lie. There's no way she walked out of those interviews saying Charlotte's more mature than Jake and Luke. That it's not possible for her to honestly come to that conclusion.
Bottom line is, you can't go, you don't need to, and you can't be making decisions about what's in your future. What you do need to take on board, as horrible a pill as it might be to swallow, is what's said in that report about you need to be able to demonstrate to the court that you've taken on board, rightly or wrongly, what that report writer has perceived.
Yeah, there is conversations with the kids, but I honestly believe they're fair. And I do have conversations with Darcy, but you would like to see your mum, wouldn't you? No. He's the one telling me no. I'm not telling him, you don't want to see your mum, do you?
You've got to build this construct of where you're not putting a kid in a situation where they even have to answer that question.
Well, Darcy will say, do I have to go back to mum? He will, of his own accord, go, oh, Dad, I'm not going to school today. I'll go, why is that, mate? Because then mum can't pick me up. Like, this is what he tells me.
And he's 7.
And I say,
you're the grown-up.
And I say, yeah, I'm taking you to school, mate. You have to see your mum. So I do push that. Like he's with me now, but the last time he was heading back, he was in the car. He goes, Dad, what if I don't want to go? And you sent me an email or whatever saying I have to encourage you. And I said, mate, I have to encourage you to go. And that was the end of the conversation. And I've said to Charlotte, and I've said to the report writer, I'll respect whatever you want to do. I'm not trying to say, Charlotte, I know Darcy wants to live with us. That's what he tells us. It's not what I tell him, it's what he tells us. Charlotte says, and Charlotte does change. It's not consistent. 1 week it's 70-30.
The first time she has her phone taken off her because she's, posted something inappropriate on Facebook, or she's getting in trouble at school, she won't want to live with her mum.
Yep.
It's the nature of kids.
And when she's with me, Rebecca will log in and cut access to her social media accounts and then tell Charlotte, you know what to do, you know what to do. And this has all been recorded. This is what the police are investigating now. That I'm not the one doing this to the kids. That you only have to listen to the recordings with the kids crying, Rebecca calling them pieces of shit.
Well, that's what David's saying, is that this is an unhelpful glitch on the step to the big picture.
Yeah, there's my mum keeps saying that it's all right, it can't get any worse, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. And I was saying the other night, like, is it the right thing to do to just let Beck have the kids, just bugger off? And she doesn't think so, but it just doesn't
Only
seem.
you can answer that question.
Well, I know what I wanted to do, but I want the kids honestly to have a fair relationship, and I need the property back or I'm stuffed financially. But I'm also not stupid that, well, maybe I am. I'm if I'm not insane, I'm not far off it. But I also don't want to waste time and my mum's money. Like, if I shouldn't be pursuing this.
Well, I think you would know, if you don't know me well enough, you certainly know David well enough, that David's not the type of person that's going to push you down the road to trial to get a bit more money. That's not how he operates. Sure as shit, not how I operate.
I'm not suggesting that's what's happening.
But it's got to be part of the, these are the people that you sort of put this aspect of your life in our hands to.
And if we thought your case was just hopeless, no chance, we would take it.
Yeah.
We would have done that probably 4 months ago.
I mean, to say I have he doesn't, my capacity, I was working on it 2 minutes before I did the fencing.
You've got to remember, he doesn't have that evidence yet.
Yeah. So do you think, well, so if he sees the evidence, and the other thing is, like, you know from my emails, I'm all over the place mentally. Just trying to collate, I can't even manage to collate things into a single email, so the information's everywhere. And just the task of putting it all into one rolling document.
Forget about emails, forget about affidavits, forget about, you're going to have to, came out badly, doesn't it? You're going to have to deal with David about getting your list together and stuff like that. That's not my department. But apart from that, just go easy on yourself for a couple of months and put your energy, direct all that energy into being a good dad for the kids
2 days.
School holidays and weekends. They're 7 and 11.
Yeah, and they're just going to.
What you put in at the moment.
She criticises me.
At the end.
She criticises me. Oh, he went to the police station to report, and I don't think we went down there to report the insurance. I think we went down for another reason. But anyway, it's always another reason.
But I guess it's you've got to take lessons from that. The police aren't parental police. You've got to start making decisions about.
We went down for something. It had nothing to do with. But the kids are going to come to me, and it's going to be 2 days of them telling me, Evan's doing this, Mum's doing that, and I'm going to go insane. And then if I say, well, we've got to report it, then it's the father reported this. How dare the father report this?
I think you've got to lay off the reporting unless it's something
I know.
serious.
I think you've got to do let's not talk about Evan, we've only got 2 days, let's go to part.
I know the logic behind what you're saying, but it's easier said than done.
I accept that, I accept that. But if you don't do that, it's going to be a vicious circle, because you know very well that she's going to pump them directly or indirectly for what happened when you were at Dad's. I don't know, all he did was talk about how Evan shouldn't be doing that stuff to us. They're kids.
Yeah.
They want to please whoever's asking them the question.
Yeah, I completely understand that. And I've said to Darcy that don't say what you want me to say. Don't you be honest and you tell me what you want. I want what you want.
You've got to stop even having those conversations with Darcy.
Yeah,
he's 7 and he's going, his little
I don't have.
Going,
it's not as if we have those.
Play Fortnite.
That's exactly right. But it's not as if, this has gone on for 7 months and that's happened a couple of times. So it'll be like, I'll be sitting down to write another affidavit, and I'll just say, Darcy, what do you think? And don't tell me what you want, what I want.
Don't ask Darcy what he thinks. He's a kid.
Yeah.
Don't let him think. He shouldn't be asked those questions. He's 7.
I know what you're saying, but I still want to reflect what they want. And that's like with Charlotte. My view is I'll reflect what she wants, and I can only know what she wants if I ask her. And Rebecca's asking her. That Rebecca's whole affidavit is about the kids say this, the kids say that, the kids say. She's clearly having these conversations with them.
And then that's why you need to rise up and be better than her.
And half the
let that every second weekend and those school holidays be the time when they don't have to. Kids aren't stupid. They're going to know it's going to take time, but they're going to figure out.
Yeah, but I can't switch off because we can't stay where we are. It's not practical. It was supposed to be temporary. I can't take both. So we can only park 2 cars there as it is. We can't work on cars. So I now have the problem of we've got to get another rental property, have to sign a lease agreement. Somehow, I can't remember half the stuff on that property, and I can't accept, like, the bail conditions don't allow me to go there, and I have to now have somewhere to take the equipment. I'm going to have to pay. I can't go there get it, so unless Jake can, and then some of the stuff's not registered. I'm going to have to take the excavator. I mean, where do I take all this stuff? The magistrate thinks I can just pop it on the veranda at the rental property. I can't work on any of it.
I think they're probably talking more about your personal.
Yeah, but the boat motors, like I had one of the motors open when I left. I was working on it.
If she's put you in this position, then this is stuff you need to talk to David about. But if she's put you in this position and you can't do what you want, which is, improve this asset, improve that asset, sell it off, then you're going to have to fire sale it, and it's going to be reflected in the.
It's not even worth the effort.
Then that's the decision you have to make.
Yeah, but I don't just.
It.
40 years, I'll end up bankrupt. 40 years old, and she just by default chokes me out of everything. I mean, the excavator will be lucky to work in another 6 months' time, just sitting there. The motors will be seized. Motors, you can't just leave motors. The boats, there'll be water seeping into the engine block of the boat that was running over to Fraser 5 months before the separation. But no capacity to work on anything. I didn't stop working on anything. So do you think next year would be a trial date for this?
I think so.
Early, mid?
The other aspect is that by the time the trial for the family matter comes on, the criminal matter will have been and gone, the DV matter will have been and gone.
Yeah,
the landscape's going to change
yeah.
incredibly.
So
What you don't have a choice in is whether or not you go to trial on the criminal matter. And as far as I'm concerned, that is my priority for you at the moment, is to keep your ass out of jail.
Yeah.
You know?
But the criminal matter just keeps getting worse. I mean, now they're saying I assaulted Beck, and I mean, how do I defend that? She says I hit her.
Because it's on the video.
Yeah, but I went to court as a witness 20 years ago for a mate who did not assault a train guard, without getting into the story.
About what happened in your mate's case 20 years ago.
The judge just said, it didn't show either way, so you're guilty.
It's not up to a judge, it's not up to a jury.
It was, the train guard said this, you and everyone else says that, but you did it. And he didn't. If he had hit that train guard, there would have been nothing left of him.
Were you there when the incident happened?
Yeah. We pulled a guy that had fallen between the train and the platform. All his clothes were inside out. He was intoxicated on something. We pulled him up between the tracks and said he needs an ambulance. And the train guard goes, no, just stick him on the train. It's like, we're not sticking him on the train. He needs an ambulance. And, yeah. So, I mean, that's literally the day that I left.
The worst thing anybody can do is go, this shit happened to my mate, so this shit's going to happen to me.
Yeah, I know. But...
And your mate didn't have Ms. Bain have counsel.
Yeah. But the police...
30 years last
You've been
month.
prosecuting.
It's strange that they wanted to make the police aware of the CCTV. I mean, how many times do we have to tell them?
That's
That is
just
complete. Well, all that demonstrates is somebody that has a complete absence of how criminal courts run. That's what I just said. Yeah, all right. You know very well Rebecca's going to tell them exactly what the judge just didn't allow. And I don't give a fuck if she does. Big deal. Somebody acting on hearsay said that this happened, so therefore Karen Carmody thinks that that should go to the district court. I don't give a fuck if they send the whole report to the district court.
They've already got the footage.
It's-
They're just too stupid to read
It's not-
timestamps.
It's just complete ignorance of how the criminal law operates.
Yeah. I suppose though we probably should give her solicitors a copy of the PCCC.
But won't-
It's probably disclosable in this proceeding.
But won't they just sit there and pick through it and go, like they'll just like change their story?
Or, do you mean for the criminal matter or for the...
No, for this matter.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think we're probably
Yeah, but not, I
obliged to
think,
disclose it.
I think though, we don't do that until after the criminal matter. Or is
Well, I
that?
suppose they'll see it, but whichever trial goes first.
Yeah.
The criminal will do that.
As I said to the police yesterday, I don't understand why you guys keep dismissing everything Rebecca does as being reasonable domestic force. And
Stop talking to the cops.
I know I will, and I
Stop.
will. I will now.
And that's not a, Aaron, this is a protect yourself.
I know it's stupid that I
because
have.
You're not following the
Yep, I know that, and we know each other. We're recording it. There's no secret of that.
Yeah, except when it gets played in court and
What I said, I think, would only help me.
That's.
Yeah, I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
and I'm not. I could be tricked into saying things. I completely get that, but I don't think I was.
They're always your best mate until.
They weren't my the tone was not that they were my best mate. That it was.
No, but they'll
heated
always
at one
want
point.
to keep talking. Keep
Yeah.
talking, Aaron. Keep talking.
Well, the only thing I said is, like, Evan can be allowed to pin Darcy down, and Darcy can be clearly scared, and they get that reasonable discipline. The grandmother can grab Darcy by the neck. Yep, that's reasonable discipline. Rebecca can hit them and break spatulas, put chili in the mouth. That's reasonable discipline. That's what they're telling me through the whole conversation. I said, so why the hell is what I did not
Because
reasonable?
Police make decisions based on squeaky wheel.
Yep.
And they're going to go, like, they're all there. They'd already prejudged what had happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before.
Oh, not all the officers. It's clear in the footage. The main officer was disagreeing.
Yeah,
He's going, oh no, he hasn't got red eyes because he was chased. He's got red eyes because he was crying. But there's one officer that just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing.
And, you know, that's going to go back to the station, and which cop is going to bloody stand up to the officer in charge, you know, the officer in charge of rosters. Like, it comes down to things as practical as that.
Yeah.
You know, that it's easier for them to go, let it go through, become somebody else's problem. We've done our job. You know, especially when there are such serious allegations, and then Rebecca goes to the fucking Courier Mail and it's, you know, local police refuse to charge father with strangulation of vulnerable ADHD child,
But
you know, or
what I was-
father deals with child by strangulation.
Everything-
Police refuse to act. Police refuse to protect.
Everything I was doing fits in with discipline. I was taking him to his grandparents for time out. That should be deemed as acceptable. I
Well,
wasn't choking him.
That's why we're going to court.
But am I just fooling myself? Like, even if they drop it from strangulation to assault, am I fooling myself in that the same theory should apply, that it's reasonable discipline?
It's not for us to, it's for a jury to be deciding that.
But they'll turn around and say, well, there was a bruise. Even though the CCTV doesn't show, and they say it happens here, the CCTV film is filming here, the bruises don't line up with the CCTV. But what the police will say is, but there's a bruise. So that bruise proves excessive force. Therefore, it wasn't reasonable.
Just because there's a bruise doesn't take it out of it being discipline. You know, but bruise isn't sort of the line where, you know, the line in the sand where it's different if the kid's covered in bruises, but if this relates to one episode, you know, different parts of the body bruising differently, different people bruising differently, well, we don't even know that it's necessarily the case yet that the bruise, you know, related from that, or that it's happened accidentally in the course of the...
Yeah, well, there's no way he had a finger mark. If that mark came from force I used, it's more likely that when I had him by the back of the shirt, that his collar may have left a mark.
It can happen in 100 different ways.
And
It doesn't mean that it's this.
Yep. And it's the only way that could have happened. The only way that if it was my force that caused a 10 centimetre finger mark on his neck, the only way it could have been is from the collar of his shirt when I was holding the back of his shirt and he was pulling away. That's the only logical explanation I can come up with. But it didn't come from hands.
Okay. Put this one.
I know it's hard, but yeah, you can try and give yourself a break for a few days from thinking about all this.
I can't. I know I need to, but I don't have the things in my head to make me do that. I can't switch off, and I know I need to. I understand all that, but I just can't. I just can't.
But you'll need to, I guess, talk to your mum.
I need value or
Make a
something.
decision, what we're going to do.
Well, if you think
the next thing to concentrate on is the problem, but
yeah.
there we go.
And I guess the benefit of that is if we can get that sorted out, then we go back to the family court, and I'm either in more trouble or redeemed.
There's no set time for you to be making decisions. That can be a work in progress for you, and you know, David bills you on an interim basis, so you know kind of where you stand at any given point.
Well, my mum and I haven't had the best relationship our whole lives, and if she thought I was a problem, she should tell me straight away. She'd have no problem telling me, you need to let the kids live with Beck, if she felt that was the best thing to do.
You need to take that on.
Yeah, but it's also her money. I don't want to be spending her money and then turn around and, oh, sorry mum, lost that. Yeah, thanks.
The bottom line, I guess, from a legal perspective is that you haven't, it doesn't feel like it today, and it's not a good day to be bringing this up, but you haven't lost anything yet. This is...
As long as I can hang on, which is excruciating because I don't have the money to hang on. But, I could have paid off, $20,000 of that debt by now just by the money I've wasted not being there. So I've taken $10,000 super out. I sold a motorbike, and that money's just gone to keeping, food in the fridge, as opposed to knock those debts out of the way, get the debt out of the way.
David and I will be the first ones to, I think I said it to David in an email yesterday, the process to get you to trial in the family court or federal circuit court, depending on where it is a waste of money.
Yeah, the process getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like, why
emotionally,
can't we
financially,
just go,
it's a waste of time. Straight to business.
But it's...
Yeah. It's
each case is different. That's how this,
Yeah, this process would work for some, but break others. All right, so...
Don't feel like, just
walk
away and breathe, and...
My decision is I keep fighting. If my sense of reality, what I'm saying is that I want to keep fighting, but if I shouldn't be thinking of things the way I see them...
Don't worry, if Dave and I get to the point where we go, we think that you're fucked, we will be saying that to you.
Because I'm honestly, I read that family report and do start questioning, am I making things up? Is what Darcy... And I've had this conversation with my mum, and Darcy disclosed the bum poking my mum. I said, am I making this out to be more than it is?
That, I don't know if it matters to you what Dave and I think, but
Of course it does.
We read that report and we just go, you got hammered.
Yeah,
You got hammered, but without an opportunity for me to cross-examine her or say that, you'd taken a bias against him from this point, and you took the word of an 11-year-old girl over the words of two clearly... Right. Obviously, I haven't met them, but they seem to be really emotionally mature, decent young men.
They are genuinely great young men, and if I was a problem, they would not return text messages.
What bloody teenage boy in the world this would stay under your control. If they don't want to live
Yeah.
with you, they'd be living with bloody mates, or the 18-year-old
Yep.
would be couch surfing somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
no way in the world they're going to stay with you if...
They would be with their mum if I was the problem. And to say that they had a perfect relationship up until he moved out. So why did he move out? Like,
Yeah, that's
it doesn't make
kind
it.
of a bit... I didn't really understand that.
And there was a
but-
paragraph
We
where
all
you
are living
Yeah,
in the shed.
yeah, and why was I living in the van?
everybody had a...
And she's
You
just
know, and
overlooked those
that
things.
could just be something that he has actually said, you know, like I was talking to my mum up until then. Doesn't mean that under further scrutiny it was, well then, you know, why weren't you living in your bedroom, or
Yeah.
why were you living with your dad, and why, you know, like
Yep.
as far as living geographically.
Yep. Jake told me, and Jake is oh, I wish I was only half as intelligent as he is. He was telling me, and he had this problem a week or two ago with Headspace, that she'd be going, tell me all the good things about mum, and does dad tell me the bad things about dad. But Jake was saying that her questioning was very biased, and he had the same problem with Headspace. He was telling Headspace, because we contacted them because he's been accused of having Stockholm syndrome. So I said, easy to sort that out, go get assessed. And he told them, he told them everything. And that's like the sort of nonsense that doesn't get presented to the judge at this stage. But he answering all the questions. So mum does this, mum does that, mum says I've got this. So it's your dad that abuses you? Look, that's what he said. That all these questions, and so it's your dad that's abusive. And it's like, he said to me,
Hang on.
so they weren't listening
Yeah.
to me for 10 minutes. And when it comes to Rebecca in the family report interview, she clearly cut me off when she was saying, tell me about Beck and the relationship with Beck. She stopped me and we moved on. And I thought, oh, that's a bit strange, but I guess we'll get back to that. And we never did. Never got back to it. But we certainly covered all her fights. She would take Charlotte off to all the fights. And that some of them were videoed for different reasons by different people. And no mention of any of that. No, the father, there's like a sentence, the father says, Beck fights the neighbours. But I went into the details, and I think that's why she's saying I have a false sense of reality, because I was explaining the details, that accusations the neighbours are singing songs to her over the fence, and so I set up a camera to catch them out, but caught her out instead of them. And I think she's twisted it to say, well, I was really catching her out or being coercive or
I think it's
controlling.
all being perceived as some weird kind of
Fantasy.
stalking control shit, which is, you know, I understand is part and parcel of, you know, your profession, and you've explained that to us. You don't need to explain it to us again. We get why it's happened.
But she watched the footage, the camera. She'd sit at the parents' place watching it. She'd watch it more than I did. Yeah, all right. So you do genuinely think I've got a chance with the criminal side of things? Because I guess everything else is now going to hinge off that.
Look, I'm going to talk to them once we've actually got a prosecutor or somebody reasonable to talk to.
Yep.
I'm not saying that we're going to get to the point where we're going to be asking you to plead guilty, but just check it.
Is that right to put that in that bin?
Yeah, it's
Yep.
fine. Anything I do behind the scenes in a criminal matter doesn't compromise your position.
Okay.
So it's a bit like what she, you know, Karen Carmody just sort of said, you know, like somebody else has an opinion of some part of the evidence. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, if it comes to the point where they want to charge you, you know, they drop the charge regarding Rebecca and they want to drop the choking strangulation charge down to a common assault, we'll talk to you about that without any kind of, you should be taking this, you
Yep.
know. Ultimately, all those decisions are going to be yours, but I'll be doing the work behind
Yep.
the scenes, and that's really just designed to give you as many options as you want.
Yep.
So
I
that
honestly.
you get to the point where you go, yeah, shit, I'll just take a plea to common assault. And
Yeah. And
I know.
I don't think that's fair, but
No, we don't need to discuss that at the moment. It might get to the point where you go, you know what, it's not fair, it's not right, but I just want to do it and I just want to move on.
Yeah, but then they get mileage out of it I honestly,
And you've got to get over what.
I was not trying to hurt him. I was trying to take him to
We don't
her
need to
parents.
We don't need to
No, that's
discuss
gonna be
it
tough.
now.
Yeah, but
We're going to have plenty of time to talk about. All I'm saying is that I want to be able to give you options.
yeah.
I'm not saying that David's briefed me in pretty hard-hitting trial before. He
Mhm.
knows that if you say fight, it's game on. Like
Well,
there's
that's
no.
the plan at the moment, but
Yeah.
they're just not giving us any dates.
Oh, yeah, welcome to my world.
Oh, there's only 7th of July is the
And I mean, they claim they're waiting for. Do you have any idea what this evidence is they're waiting for?
No, I've got a couple of more body camera
Oh, really?
things which in the last couple of weeks we've only had time to look at.
Which, yeah,
Where- from
which
where?
if they hadn't provided it,
Oh.
we would have been asking for it, so.
Oh, is
that's
that?
no big
Oh, is that the evidence they're waiting for?
Well, that's what they've given me, so.
So what were those? Who and where?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Simone.
No worries. Yeah, contact me if you need to sort anything.
Oh, thank you.
I can't, I think there's two, but I can't remember who it is.
So would that be from another incident? Like, would that be from Christmas Eve?
Because all it says is, you know, this is the body worn camera of senior constable Joe Blow. Doesn't say what it's about or
Because I
what date or
can't.
anything.
Like, even there's stuff they did at the station that paints me in a better light. Like they were trying to get me to react when they're locking me in the cell. You really hurt that kid, didn't you? Look, no, I didn't.
But I don't think they would have it wasn't them, no.
No, I don't think so. I just can't understand.
You turn them off after.
They indicate they had audio recorders going at various points. So they're going to look in July, like discuss whether it gets passed over again or not. Does that mean?
I think very pleased we should be able to get the evidence of the kid of Evan Andrews.
Yep.
Get them done.
Okay.
And there's still one at this stage. There's still one doing jury trials there.
Yep.
And that's the other decision that we will need to make. We can't really make it until after the kids have given their evidence.
Okay.
So in that case, we need to decide what we want to do as a judge-only trial.
Okay. And that would happen sooner than a jury.
Yeah, well, I can do that. Still really needs to be in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are doing some of those at the moment.
Okay, so that could progress in the next couple of months, for the next month or two.
There's cities about every week.
Okay.
So we can get the kids done in these next cities in July.
Yep.
Then I guess as soon as the as soon as they're ready to start doing the jury trials.
Which, could that still be the end of the year or next year?
We haven't looked at any exact indications from most courts.
Yep.
But it's very unlikely to be for say September.
Okay.
I know that because I've got some friends who work in government departments.
Yep.
They're sort of being, I guess, more cautious than private employers.
Yep.
They're going to be the last ones that sort of feel like they open.
Okay. And the family trial, that'd be early next year, do you think?
At this stage, notice that he said that
guilty is the not of.
When he hears trouble,
Sorry.
I don't know if you noticed when he made a comment about the Hinton hearing the final trouble.
Sorry, the what?
The trouble.
Yep.
So whether he's forgotten that he
Yeah.
further up the road,
Yep.
probably doesn't make much difference in terms of who's in charge of that house.
Yep.
It's probably taking somebody else.
Yep.
You coach.
Yeah. Fresh. Yeah.
There are more things that we need to consider at this stage where we're ready to sort of get started.
Yep. Okay. Like ours is then. And would it be like a multi-day trial? Would it be?
Oh, look, I think it would be 2 days.
Okay.
Just probably mainly because of all the bloody, all the evidence that we're going to want,
Yep.
all the video and audio stuff.
Yep.
That's going to take, because you've got to bloody show it to the witness, each time you want to ask a question,
Yep.
we'll no doubt have to go through with the bloody report on as well, so it's going to be a pretty tedious process.
Yeah.
We've got to do it.
Okay. But that's next year. We're talking.
I suspect so, unless,
But not
unless for some reason he decides to give it some priority.
Okay.
Alright.
So I should look at a 6-month lease somewhere at this stage then.
I suspect so, yeah. What are you paying me on it?
$435 including furniture. So I've now got to look at getting furniture.
House, it's got some bloody yardage where you might just do some shit.
Yeah, I'll have
For
to.
around that price.
It'll have to be somewhere out of town.
I suppose too close to.
But she'll have to agree to let me take all my tools and the equipment.
That's something you will need to do is
Yeah.
start working on that list.
Yeah, but I won't be able to remember the list. Like it would take me 2 weeks to walk around going through shipping containers. I'm not gonna. Like, can I just say contents of container, contents of? Yeah. Okay.
All tools.
Okay.
As long as it's easy enough to
Okay. All right. Thanks, David. Sorry to put you through all this. Am I your biggest pain in the ass as a customer? No. Okay. All right. Thanks, mate.